Greetings. What's up, everybody? Y'all alright? Good day today. I want to build before y'all today. You know what I'm saying, with this nice positive communication. You know what I'm saying, dealing with knowledge itself, outside the box thinking. You know, dealing with alternative information that is a reflection of our minds not being constricted or imprisoned, you know, by certain social controls that is designed, you know what I'm saying, for us to actually not be able to figure certain things out as a result of us being psychologically programmed and conditioned to not be able to observe, identify, and see certain things, you know what I'm saying, that is intended to keep us mentally enslaved, not only on a day-to-day basis, but actually for a lifetime, y'all. We dealing with some real events on a day-to-day basis, you know what I'm saying, that's designed to systematically keep us in a certain frame of reference through a certain lens of seeing, you know what I'm saying, that don't have anything to do with setting the minds of the captives free. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Guess what? You got I must admit, right? We have hard-headed people amongst us on our planet today. You know what I'm saying? To where a lot of, you know, our people, you know, it seems that we have no control over the stubbornness of people not believing or researching to actually find out what, say for instance, you be as a conscious individual, be trying to share, you know what I'm saying, with others to wake them up in terms of them researching or finding out on their own what you be, you know, kicking the science about to them be in fact or indeed really rooted in the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like, you know, even amongst our friends, family members, you know what I'm saying, who've seen us in at certain points in our life, or who knew or know us at certain points in our life, you know what I'm saying, when we was on certain levels, but when we actually experienced a certain experience of growth from within our own internal realization, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what, I done found out, you know what I'm saying, like, who I really am in terms of me progressing and evolving into that identity that's structured around the reality as far as like me knowing who I really am and living my life according to that purpose. Really, that turned out to be a higher calling to outgrow superficiality. You know what I'm saying? So I can say, you know, I grown a lot with a smile on my face, you know what I'm saying, to turn out to actually feel good about my growth and development, you know what I'm saying, dealing with higher consciousness through knowledge itself, you know what I'm saying, which is a life-saving frequency that enable me to perceive things dealing with the higher regions of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, you know what I'm saying, may we, you know, have longevity in this life, you know what I'm saying? May we feel good about ourselves, you know, maybe we spread joy to others, you know what I'm saying? May we be a source of emotional healing for others in the environment, you know what I'm saying, that may be bogged down with negative internal emotions as a result of their thoughts being riddled with negativity. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a reality of a term called psychosomatic illnesses where your mind make your body sick. You can heal yourself of those negative frequencies through thinking differently. Just as simple as that. I remember I seen this book once upon a time. It was called I Can't Afford a Negative Thought. And in light of the meaning of that book, I Can't Afford a Negative Thought, you know what I'm saying, is indeed a strategy in which you can use to connect your energy and motion, as far as your emotions, energy and motion, to be in tune with the current of the frequency of positive emotions as a result of your thinking on higher thoughts regarding love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, equity, equality, and things of this particular nature, right? To where your body will actually take on emotional vibration of those exact positive traits that is universally accepted by the human family, because we all want joy, we all want love, we all want truth, we all want peace, we all want freedom, we all want justice, we all want equity, we all want equality. You know what I'm saying? Which breeds, you know what I'm saying, good feelings in the atmosphere and good feelings within our emotions regarding us having emotional intelligence. But mind you, you have wicked demonic entities that is at work 24/7 to try to create some kind of misery in people to where they don't feel free, to where they don't feel justice, to where they don't feel love, to where they don't feel equity, to where they don't feel equality, to where they don't feel peace, to where they don't feel justice. You know what I'm saying? These particular positive traits of social relations that breed healing amongst us all. Because it's a lot of us so tired out here to the point where, you know what I'm saying, we result to behavior patterns dealing with, say for instance, drinking, smoking drugs, you know what I'm saying, using these particular mind-altering chemicals as a form of escapism to irreality or a world of illusion, just to mask the reality that you feel dissatisfied with being in. You're not dealing with the root cause of the dissatisfaction. You know what I'm saying? To deal with the root cause of the dissatisfaction is the best way to eradicate and replace, you know what I'm saying, that dissatisfaction with satisfaction. In life, we have to work on ourselves. This is a daily operation. You know what I'm saying? In order for us to tap into our potential structured around higher consciousness. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? We have to be responsible for ourselves as adults. You know what I'm saying? Tapping into our potential as we go on with the forwardness of our beautiful lives. You know what I'm saying? So in light of that, right? Say for instance, right? You have a lot of people who identify with certain spiritual persuasions that they think they identify with. You know what I'm saying? To the point where people don't really know what they think they know. You know what I'm saying? So, in light of a lot of our people, you know what I'm saying, coming to terms with the light of civilization, you know what I'm saying? May we reason together, you know what I'm saying, through the analytics, you know what I'm saying, of this line of reasoning that I am articulating, you know what I'm saying, through this transmission regarding the systematic computational analysis of certain data and statistics and information that I will be enunciating about that will help inculcate in your mindset a certain concretized reality that will be rooted in truth, that will serve you as meaningful information that won't steer you wrong, that will be in tune with the divine aim and purpose of the Most High for our lives. You know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, right, we have a day-to-day operation going on with the Trump administration. You know what I'm saying? We have distraction campaigns going on over here. We got people telling lies about other people over here. We still got our history to dig up ourselves, you know what I'm saying, in comparison to the archaeological findings of archaeologists dealing with them actually trying to find out their origins, you know, these particular like European archaeologists. And the deeper they get into certain findings, the blacker things get for them, where they can't get around the concept, where they can get around the idea that no matter how far they try to go back into history trying to find out where they come from, they keep running into us who predate them. So where did they really come from? You know what I'm saying? Yet we have certain European powers that's in power, you know what I'm saying, which turn out to be a certain power that's in power for a certain period of time. You know what I'm saying? And that period of time is a period of time to where through certain learned leaders of their civilization, right, that we happen to be in as a form of being subjected to a certain timeline of white European societal group complex subordination, so to speak, through their rules and regulations of the establishment of their systematic systems of governance. You know what I'm saying? Say like us as Nubian people, black people, Nubian star seeds. We have many names, you know, great names, you know what I'm saying, that we can identify with as a people. You know what I'm saying? Blacks, Moors, African Americans, Nubians, Nubians, what have you, Moors, Egyptians, modern day Egyptians, you know what I'm saying? who are people who come from the land of the gods, right? This is not conjecturing. These are actual fact, truth, and reality that some people don't want to talk about because they feel like it makes them feel inferior to us. But wait a minute. Haven't we been uh, haven't we been as a people, hasn't that been thrown in our face for hundreds of years that white people are superior to us? When it come to find out, us as melanite people of the sun, you know what I'm saying, compared to melanin recessive hybrid people or people who lack melanin that we have scientifically, is it true that they are inferior to us to where they have an inferiority complex? You know what I'm saying? Or since we've been conditioned to have an inferiority complex in the face of white supremacy, hegemony, and domination, is the reason why they do what they do to mask their inferiority complex that they have against us, because they know in reality who we truly are, you know what I'm saying, which they can never take away from us as being gods and goddesses of this planet, connected with the gods of the universe and other galaxies and star constellations and star systems and things of this particular nature. You know what I'm saying? So why was there forces designed to try to confound our tongues to where confusion would run amok amongst us, when due to certain law and order of our cultural orientations, peace and order reign supreme? But for some reason, the whole planet has been affected by these confounding tongues and misunderstandings of a plurality of educational systems and things of this particular nature when it comes to us as being one. You know what I'm saying? So why is that? You know what I'm saying? Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Let's get into like the root causes of so much wickedness and chaos, when really we can, you know what I'm saying, enjoy peace, love, light, and righteousness amongst one another while we utilize our time wisely with our time on the planet. You know what I'm saying? For hundreds of years, which can be hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? So let's get off into some mental gymnastics. Let's get off into some mental gymnastics. Relax. Take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. It's going to be A-OK. Relax. Breathe in. You got to have a sense of humor, y'all, out here. You know what I'm saying? Keep laughing from crying, baby. You know what I'm saying? So relax. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's get ready and go in, right? For instance, we know the name of a religion or God does not make it real. We never really questioned certain information people and sources gave us, you know what I'm saying, where we, really wasn't thinking. We wasn't using our mind in ways we use our minds today, like, question everything, you know what I'm saying, to lead to the true reality that I really can embrace, because this is my soul we dealing with. You know what I'm saying? This is our souls we gotta protect and secure from the hands of the robbers that come to kill, steal, and destroy everything they touch, being on a sinister left-hand path of evil. You know what I'm saying? That hate to see you doing good. Like, say for instance, right? Like when they say, how people take your kindness for weakness. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is a goody goody. Yeah, this a she goody two shoes, or you trying to be good. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with being good? Because remember, the devil said, I'm gonna make what's wrong look right, and what's right look wrong. I'm gonna make what's good look bad, and what's bad look good. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. You got rotten apples everywhere out here, socially amongst us, in this society that's looked up to. But they fucking rotten apples. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. You got the good people, you know what I'm saying, to be looked at as bad people or even troublemakers. You know what I'm saying? Now see that kind of reverse psychology, you know what I'm saying, when you out here living righteous. You out here doing right. You even out of sight, out of mind. And here it is in your own personal life. You ain't doing nothing but just being righteous. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing nothing but just being righteous. You know what I'm saying? Where I corrected the error of my ways. Or where you have corrected the error of your ways to the point where you was on the straight path. The path of those upon whom the Most High's wrath is not brought down. You know what I'm saying? So we got to know how to utilize knowledge of self regarding this resurrection process, and know how to just keep things in its proper perspective. You know what I'm saying? Where we have a mind to do right. Now listen to this, right? For people who claim names today like Jews, Christians, Muslims, or Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and there are many subdivisions, right? Sects and denominations. The fact that there are millions who believe the fiction of their holy books. Now wait a minute. So you're saying in the holy books that's been passed on to us to be holy books have fiction in them? See how a qualified mind that knows certain realities about things that been pushed on us without us actually questioning to see and investigate this information based on facts put before us, where we can make a wise judgment to determine whether indeed this information that they gave us was in fact true or not. Right? Now, regarding the truth and reality of these particular fairy tales or these fabricated stories, allegedly, has been given to us in a way for us to actually be powerless. Now, why would we be prepped, so to speak, to end up being a people who would be powerless based on the knowledge you possess? Because after all, right, an educated, knowledgeable person who has knowledge itself is not fit to be no one's slave. So, going back into the history where it was illegal for us to read. Now, here it is, 2025. It's been made legal for us to read for centuries, right? For decades, right? Centuries. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you have individuals who don't see the value in reading with tenaciousness. So certain individuals wonder why they suffer the consequences of their ignorant ways that gets them caught up inside the devil's web, which is a web that's weaved so skillfully by the ones who want to entrap you in that web, right? To where they get people all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's a daily operation for those that don't know no better. That's why they tell you, ignorance to the law ain't no excuse. How many times they gotta tell you that? So you gotta do your own due diligence. But here's the kicker, right? Say for instance, you really didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? When you end up getting caught, you know what I'm saying, or reprimanded or punished for some kind of, you know, mistake you done did, you know what I'm saying, as a result of you having to learn from that mistake, but yet, you know what I'm saying, you being punished for it, where, okay, you're gonna learn from that when you learn from your mistakes, you know what I'm saying, when you get a slap on the wrist, you know what I'm saying, or where you end up getting a little more than a slap on the wrist, but yet you learn from your mistake, right? Watch this. Now here it is. You done change your life for the better as a result of you learning from your mistakes, right? Now you on the straight and narrow. You done woke up. Only to find out that you got these, tricksters and these clowns who still don't want to give you credit where credit is due as a result of you doing right now. They still be fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? What kind of hypocrisy is that? You done turned your life around and they still don't want to give you credit where credit is due. You doing good. Well, all kind of doors of opportunity should be open to you, but they keep them closed. But you doing the right thing. You're not robbing nobody. You're not stealing. You're not committing no crimes. You living by the word of the Most High at the level of your understanding, where you cleaning your life up through scriptures, Holy Quran, or spiritual systems, you know what I'm saying, of higher thought, through appealing to your higher self of yourself, and you out here doing the right thing, right? To the point where they still trying to give you a hard time. You know what I'm saying? Where you turn out to be like a chosen one individual. Like, well, you know what? Fret not, chosen one. Because obviously, by you being set apart, you know what I'm saying, with positive energy signatures about yourself, where you have all kind of spiritual favor, you know what I'm saying, in the spirit world, where certain screens getting pulled, you know what I'm saying, for you, that's meant to work on your behalf, like our creator, right? Who is the ultimate locksmith, the Most High, our creator, who is the ultimate locksmith. You know what I'm saying? That open up all kind of closed doors where people's hearts get touched, you know what I'm saying, to make way for you to enter, for me to enter, for our life to be made better, and to transform the environment that we go into with positive frequency, energy frequencies, with positive transformational energies. You know what I'm saying? That bring vision to the environment through us to make this world a better place. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, right, we gotta maintain keeping our thoughts straightened out, where our minds be free from being entangled by the confusing psychological entrapments of the authors of confusion. Now mind you, right, for people who claim names today like Jews, Christians, Muslims, or Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and there are many subdividing sects and denominations, the fact that there are millions who believe the fiction of their holy books, the fictions of beings or people in their own stories, right? The fact that there is a place called Jerusalem, or the Vatican in Rome, or Mecca in Arabia, yet none of the above mentioned or confirmed the facts needed. Say for instance, right, where's these human beings that we hear about in scriptures existed? Show us the proof where they existed at. Now we know there is the name of physical places within the stories that exist that we can point to geographically on the map. But where is the remains of the special like tombs, so to speak, of these people, and that, say for instance, the perfect cultural people who preserve history to where you can look at history and confirm the proof of their existence will be our ancestors, the Egyptians, in whom we are descendants of right now to this very day. For those who know that, that's in our right minds. But some kind of technology of the devil historians use our history to write us out of history, where we would not see ourselves. To the point today, a lot of us trying to wake up to the reality where we making the connection and we see ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Connected to the land of the gods in Africa, where we seeded all over the planet, all over the world. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, yet, due to the colonialisms, the imperialisms, the what they call, with the help of the Vatican, the Pope of Rome now, the doctrine of discoveries, the Unum Sanctums, the Christian Crusades, the Spanish Inquisitions, and these particular campaigns of invasions, that affected the way we lived as empires and peoples who experience certain communal living, where we live for and by one another with a certain cultural orientation that has been lost, to the point where we're trying to get back to, which is the aim and purpose of our unity. You know what I'm saying? Like the Holy Quran was talking about. For surely man is in loss, or due to the error of our ways. It's truth in these books that serves as spiritual tools. But we got to know how to utilize and connect the dots and separate the truth from the falsehood of the realities of these spiritual books that's full of codes, you know what I'm saying, that are to be decoded with the right keys to unlock the mysteries of the books. You know what I'm saying? This goes on to read, right? Vatican in Rome, or Mecca in Arabia. Yet none of the above mentioned or confirmed the facts needed. It's only beliefs and no reason given in proof or rebuttal of their God's existence. A God that each claim is partial to their rituals with themselves as the chosen ones, and that their God will not protect other children of the world unless they will convert to their racist religious beliefs. That he is responsible for all beings born amongst the Hindu Indian sub-race, or Buddhist Asian sub-race, or Islamic Arab hybrids, and so on. Is he not the giver of all life to all people regardless of race, according to their religious beliefs? Are we to believe that when each time this so-called Hebrew race, or Jews or Israelites, the sub-race of Caucasian people, could not live safe or find food or fear death in the land of Canaan, where their God put them, that their God, Yahweh, Elohim, sent them to Africa, to the Africans, our people. Egypt is in Africa and was ruled originally by Africans, who many Caucasians have taught are cursed to be black, with nappy hair, big lips, with large genitals and big butts. All this they claim, while their God sends them to safety amongst African peoples on the African continent repeatedly. Now, with that said, right, here it is. A lot of us in the United States of America, right, the knowledge that we've been exposed to has been a result of what's called information control, where the information that we've been exposed to has been controlled information that has indeed been controlled based on them giving us what they wanted to give us, which omitted a whole universe of actual facts. So what do they know that we don't know. Now the table has turned. What do we know that they don't know? Because a lot of knowledge they stole or burnt and destroyed, they thought they got rid of a lot of it or most of it, but the rest they conserved for themselves to study and master. That was a reflection of who we are, right? But yet, so they thought they had the information, but our ancestors preserved a lot of that information that they never touched, that's still here amongst us to benefit from in this sun cycle that we in now, this golden cycle, where we are being restored back to our pristine purity now through this divine alignment. That's why this is the alignment time for us Nuwaubians to be in alignment with our true spiritual science, which goes by mysterious names, but in a name that you can identify with, we give it a certain name for a certain portion of understanding, understanding, overstanding, connected with the greater reality of the outer standing that has been converted into information, conditioning us for the outformation with divine intellect. You know what I'm saying? Where we receiving divine intellect from the outer leg, which is extraterrestrial psychology that come from the divine mind of Patem Ta, the all connected to the mental reservoir of the spiritual world, dealing with the ether planes, dealing with the Etherians, dealing with the astral plane, dealing with the mental reservoir, dealing with the Akashic records, connected with our atomic structure of our inner beings that's connected to divine light, the electricity, the source of the divine source of energy within the atom regarding the God particles. You know what I'm saying? That's designed out of dark matter consciousness, supreme black light, divine order out of chaos of the melanin, divine melanin of the black dot, dealing with the sacred geometry of God consciousness. We are spiritual beings in a manifestation of the flesh as the melanite people of the sun. Now, we are not to be credulous, just readily acceptable of what people give us. We are to investigate it, research it, check it out, like the master teachers tell us. Don't believe me? Check it out. So here we are right now. You know what I'm saying? With these particular analytics, you know what I'm saying, that I'm enunciating about, which is a systematic computational analysis of this data and information, in addition to statistics. Now, for instance, right, positive energy activate constant elevation, right? Now, we know for a fact, you know what I'm saying, that we have to go to a higher level of consciousness dealing with us really, you know, having ourselves together when it comes to living a positive lifestyle, free from the negative stereotypes that, how should I put this, that certain racist forces try to push on us that don't fit the description of who we are, right? We are a clean and holy nation. You know what I'm saying? That's all about positivity. You know what I'm saying? Well, we know, we have that we are a part of a government of the Most High with a military in place that you can see and that you can't see. You know what I'm saying? Because in this world, everything ain't always what it seems, and we know that for a fact. Things is not always what it seems, baby. You know what I'm saying? So let's get off into some knowledge of self, dealing with, being free from being spellbound with these daily operations of these mind magicians. You know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, right? Let's go into some questions and answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, for basic activities for us to do. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the master teacher sharing with us that I, as your supreme grand hierophant Amanui Roa Patah, am able to distinguish between that which is for Egyptian Moors, blacks, and Nubians, and that which is against us, right? Regarding that which is against us, or which is against him or her. Ghost, white god, the spirit of the ghost, whites. The cursed albino seed represents death for Nubian blacks, and is therefore against Nubians, blacks, Egyptian, Moors. Nine ether, the spirit of blacks, represent life. And of course, life and death are opposites, just as blacks and whites are opposites. Six ether is nine ether in death, and yet, and still at his death, returns to nine ether, being the alpha and the omega. Nine ether can produce ghosts, but ghosts cannot produce nine ether. The purpose of anything and everything written in these scrolls is to help destroy the Negro negative slave mentality off of our minds. So that Nubians, blacks, woolly-haired people everywhere may have and exercise free mind and God mind, and thereby enjoy freedom and equality. If a person has a free mind, he will do free things. And if a person has a equal mind, he will do equal things. Scrolls like the Right Knowledge series are designed to open the way of the spiritual and mental revolution, because there can be no change in racial status for Nubian blacks as a whole without first having change in mental powers and spiritual forces. The same old spirit forces and same old minds will maintain the same old system. Although the ways and means of maintaining the old system may change, it will be the same old system as long as the same old minds and same old spirits prevail. The same old system is the nature of them. That's why Donald Trump, them in office right now, trying to perpetuate the grand old party of the GOP, of the extreme white wing, extreme white right wing areas of the United States government and his administration with the MAGA and SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, where he got judges pretty much like in support of his administration, where we got 3 that appear to be not, which need to dwindle down to 0 Supreme Court judges being in favor of his administration with his anti-black executive orders and things of this particular nature, with these other, ill-effective campaigns that he doing domestically here in our country here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Where he need to restore those executive orders to help black people stay academically enriched and things of this particular nature. You know what I'm saying? But due to them being Christian white nationalists, what kind of God is this these people believe in? You know what I'm saying? These racist gods. You know what I'm saying? These racist gods. I mean, seriously. I mean, that goes to show you that this certain Christian white nationalist Christianity religion, that's not real Christianity at all. That's not Christ consciousness at all. Those are hate groups that the Southern Poverty Law Center should have tabulated in its group of organizations that are racist in nature. Not the Nubian nation of Moors or the Nubians as a black supremacist organization in the Poverty Law Center documentation list of racist hate groups in the United States, because we're not a hate group. We are a love group that is not a cult, but we are a culture, cultivating our culture just like our grand Egyptian cultures of our ancestors. Y'all trying to separate us from our lineages and bloodlines of the African continent. We connected to all of that landmass over there. So for y'all to be trying to control the narrative and play word games and try to make people's names look dirty when they actually clean, you know what I'm saying? We have to clear this up by coming in defense for ourselves to untangle the web of lies that y'all have weaved. You know what I'm saying? We have to get rid of that falsified information that y'all are perpetuating in the public. For lack of a better word, unlearned people or ignorant people will take that to hold as truth what the Southern Poverty Law Center be putting out about certain black groups that appear to be for liberation of the mind, which is complete constructive change beyond the bullshit racism that white supremacy projected on our minds, trying to keep us mentally destroyed with a falsified teaching that don't empower us at fucking all. Y'all people is really bent on being connected to, like the Bible said, the father of lies, which is the devil. Ain't no truth in them. But when they speak of a lie, they only speak of their own. We clearing our names up out here. We not no evil doers out here. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no evidence of nothing about the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York case either, that y'all can use against him with those falsified claims about what y'all so-called tried to charge the master teacher for. But in all actuality, you still just holding him hostage for no reason. That's why I say so-called charge. Y'all just holding him hostage for no reason, which is actually, y'all are the criminals who kidnapped him. Y'all are the criminals. See, that's the type of reverse psychology y'all try to put on the American people. Y'all think all American people, no matter what color or race they is ignorant and stupid or credulous, just readily acceptable for any kind of narrative that y'all put out there for y'all want people to grasp as the facts, when in all actuality, when these people do their research and find out who Dr. Malachi Z. York is, we will have unanimous consent to agree to free him, like we have done for day one to free Dr. Malachi Z. York right now, because y'all telling lies on him. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, the American society trying to appear like they favor divine wisdom and extraterrestrial findings and all this otherworldly knowledge that the master teacher been talking to us about. All of a sudden, y'all concerned about these particular topics, when these particular topics that hit the public, because quiet as it's kept, y'all in secret coming up with these concepts from our teachers and don't want to give credit to where credit is due. That's go to show how weak y'all is. To make the world a better place, free the master teacher and ask him questions like y'all be asking Bill Carson now. Y'all want to know the real deal? Free Dr. Malachi Z. York, our master teacher. You know what I'm saying? Who come to set the record straight for us all to be free in terms of raising the vibrations of the planet beyond the technology of the devil and these reptilians. You know what I'm saying? That's out here at work, hissing, doing all kind of hissing, like the snakes they evils. You know what I'm saying? Got people backstabbing each other, distrusting each other, going against each other. You know what I'm saying? With half-truths. You know, what they call it? Trying to character assassinate good people. You know what I'm saying? Causing chaos in the environment, because the devil is the author of confusion. You know what I'm saying? Full of jealousy, full of enviousness against us gods of light. We letting our light shine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The master teacher, we all here as students of the master teacher to break the spells off of the minds of the blacks and whoever else who is interested in being free from the spell of King Louis. You know what I'm saying? So this goes on to read, right? Now, a change in mental status by the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right understanding, which leads to sound right reasoning, brings change to the spiritual status, because ignorance in the mind is destroyed. Then the spiritual forces of ignorance, white magic, that maintain ignorance will have nothing to live on. They die, scatter, or become sealed in Pata, the earth. When the mind receives right knowledge and accepts it, the mind defends itself by fighting against the forces of ignorance. Its enemy, the enemy of our minds, is ignorance, y'all. You know what I'm saying? The enemy of our minds is ignorance. Because what do ignorance do? Ignore the facts. Oh, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. Who is that John on right now kicking the science? Talking that black stuff or that white stuff. Man, nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? What he talking about, man, forget what he talking about, man. I'd rather hear some ignorance. I want to ignore the facts. I don't want to listen to the truth or the facts that John's speaking. John, the Nubian winner, victorious JT. I just want to listen to the lies. It's more comfortable to listen to the lies and live a lie. I want to live a lie and be a foolish perpetuator of falsehood. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's hang around. I like, I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around some clowns. I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around some dummies. I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around some crazy folks. I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around alcoholics. I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around dope fiends. I don't want to listen to him. I want to go hang around some negative environments. I don't want to listen to his life-saving teachings. I want to go listen to something that's going to give me brain damage and go against the grain of my brain that's rooted in lies and destroy the beauty of my brain and leave me in an emotional, agitated state. I want something that's going to make me feel disturbed. I want to go listen to something that's going to make me feel down and out and miserable inside. I don't want to be around real happiness. I don't want to transform my life like he did into living into conformity with actual facts through his true spiritual science. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing that, these people are vessels of the devil. You know what I'm saying? See, the devil don't live here. Even though, listen to this, I'm going to keep it real 100. I know I have a lower self, but I conquered my lower self a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like in Islam, when they talk about the jihad itself. You know what I'm saying? Or in Christianity, when they talk about the crucifixion of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Those are internal battles that we have to master in terms of gaining control over ourselves, in terms of exercising the right side of our willpower, not the lower self of or negative side. That's why I love my positive habits, baby. Like when they say, going back to this, right, when they say, ignorance to the law ain't no excuse. So when y'all stupid ass get in trouble, when your fucking ass is getting in trouble, right, and you end up doing something so dumb and wrong, ended up on the wrong side of the law, as a result of your stupid thinking and actions, you get caught up in the hellfire. You know what I'm saying? To get put in a place of punishment. That's what penal systems is all about. Punishment. Punishing you. You know what I'm saying? By angels of wickedness, hell's angels. You know what I'm saying? Who get pleasure out of abusing you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way a person in his right mind want to be out of civilized society and end up being in an institution. You know what I'm saying? Where you can get abused by sadistic people who love to see you suffer. You know what I'm saying? They got a job in a place of punishment that's designed to punish you for a crime that you did against society, where they in there to inflict punishment on you because they the type of people that love to see people like you be punished and suffer. and feel pain, anguish, abuse. Even though you have certain state rights in there, but yet it's a place of punishment, a place of pure hell. No one wants to be there. You know what I'm saying? So what makes you think people out here who carrying themselves on the straight and narrow path spiritually, you know what I'm saying, want to make sure that they is seen in the eyesight of the Most High, to where we doing the work right now to clean up our temples of self, you know what I'm saying, which is the temple of God, you know what I'm saying, where a certain judgment will take place with us, to where we'll make it on the right side, on the right side, you know what I'm saying, before we make our transition, by doing the work right now while we here on earth right now, without being distracted by the wiles of Satan. You know what I'm saying? That's out there to get people caught up with the glamours and glitz and the carnal desires of the carnal customs of man and woman. You know what I'm saying? Better watch what you follow out here. You know what I'm saying? So you won't end up being in loss to yourself for your own soul's protection, baby. You know what I'm saying? This goes on to read, right? When the mind receives knowledge and accepts it, the mind defends itself by fighting against the forces of ignorance, its enemy. Like I was saying earlier, the enemy of the mind is ignorance. And when the right side of the mind defeats the weaker side, the person becomes free, and a God-man, as sufficient effort is made, and no longer goddamned. No longer goddamned. The results of cruel suppression of the mind and the accumulation of gross ignorance is the state of miserable conditions, where the slave and the slave master, or captive or captor, pray to the same God, and the black man becomes damned. Since the slave master is an enemy of the slave, if the slave prays to the same white-skinned ghost or spook god as the master, he is praying to the God that enabled the slave master to enslave him, the captive, the enemy of the slave or captive, just as the slave master is. The one God doctrine that the slave master indoctrinated the slave with is really worship of himself and his white image, and a part of the spell of 6,000 years ago brought on by Enki, Sutu, Zuen, Apophis. All the Neterat supreme beings were condensed into one called God, that a capital G. God or God, what is the difference? Scroll, refer to. Now, for instance, right? Now, when the master teachers say, Enki, Sutu, Zuen, Apophis, all the Neterat supreme beings was condensed into the God concept created by, let's say, the Romans during the Nicene Council of 325 AD or something like that, right? What they omitted about their cultures that predate and existed before what they consolidated Christianity to be. with a symbol to represent that with a symbol to represent that Christianity as the cross. But they said, in this sign we conquer. So is they saying the Christian cross, any way you see that sign, is a symbol to where we have conquered the minds of those people who uphold that cross as their salvation, who uphold that cross as the symbol of their salvation. So what that's to say, anywhere we see that cross, we see a conquered people by that particular government connected to those ancient Romans. Where today we in a modern Rome, where the same principles and rules apply. Where we see the symbol of the cross to mean, in this sign we conquer. So is that to say, to this day, the people who uphold that cross as their symbol of salvation are actually, in fact, peoples whose minds have been conquered by the forces behind that symbol of that cross. And to take it further, then you got the cross inverted, the upside down cross, which is another symbol of Satanism, to the point where whichever cross people adopt regarding the upright cross or the inverted cross, their mind still has been conquered basically by the same forces at work who want to conquer them in mind, spirit, and soul. Because obviously they want your soul regarding the inverted cross, the upside down cross, to where the objective of Satanism is for him to get the souls of the people who sell their soul to Satanism or the devil. So is it accurate to say that Satan has their souls who accepted the upside down cross as they form of salvation while here on the planet? So a person with knowledge of self is unfit to be a slave. There it goes again. But let's go into these terminologies. The God concepts. What God is you worshiping? Who God is you worshiping? Where did you get your God idea from? Or what you know to be God? Where did it come from? Who gave it to you? When did they give it to you? How did they give it to you? Where did they give it to you? Do you know why they gave it to you? Do you know why you even worship the God that you worship? Simple and plain. Ask questions to lead to the facts. But wait a minute. What did they tell you? Which was a part of the hypnotic spell. They told you, don't ask no questions. Just believe. And what do? You do just that. You believe. And you don't ask no questions. You know why? Because the rules and regulations of the divine tenets of that particular religion that you think is divine told you, don't question God, because God is all powerful. God knows everything. He's the all-knowing. So it wouldn't be wise to question God that's in the image and likeness of the slave masters. You know what I'm saying? So is that why you see a lot of people out here so stupid? Because they don't ask questions. Or when you see people with signs of intelligence that's intimidating and threatening because they've been so conditioned to not ask questions, which is an act of intelligence and sign of intelligence, to use your intelligence, because you have a brain that's full of intelligence that's laying dormant if you haven't been exercising your free will ability to use your brain in a way to make sense of things in life. Just like how America loved to spellbound the masses when they think for us instead of using our American minds for ourselves. When they, when certain politicians make certain addresses with national reports and things of this particular nature, we heard it before. They tell us the American people want this. The American people want that. Right? The American people want this. The American people, they want this. Yet, is that really what us, the American people, want? Half of these people we never even seen in our life before, but they in seats of power, working behind closed doors. Really, they never seen us a day in their life. They would pretty much look at us like we are strangers, just like we don't know them from a can of paint. Well, we will look at them like they strangers. But yet, we're supposed to be one happy family in America, to where us, the American people, want everything that they say we want. But yet, you have conflicts of the people with different points of views all over the place here in the United States at the same time. So who trying to fool who? You know what I'm saying? Who trying to fool who? You know what I'm saying? When we have things right before our eyes, you know, we see certain things going on, but yet you telling me that's not what you see. This is what you see. You see what I say you see. You don't see what you know that you know. That you know what you see. Which is the real truth. Now, I have the real truth in terms of what I see. But I'm supposed to be gaslighted. Right? To where I am to believe the lie instead of my truth. And so are y'all. Y'all are supposed to believe the lies instead of y'all truths. But for us who know better, no, we will not be gaslighted, America. We will stand on our point of views through our lenses of truth that we know to be the truth, and not your gaslighting narratives that try to polarize us into a unreality. You know what I'm saying? Because we the people are indeed the powers that be. But we know we dealing with, our government in ways to where certain things have to be worked out. And we gonna work it out. We gonna work it out intelligently. We have to come up with ideas that has respect to the constitutionality of the constitutional law of our society. You know what I'm saying? That is made up of people where we all have rights, and human rights and civil civil liberties. You know what I'm saying? With the Declaration of Independence. But yet, there are those who want to cause confusion amongst us. But it's not going to be a part of the confusion. We are going to be the freedom fighters who is about revolution, complete constructive change through thinking positively. Now this goes on to read, right? The name God, regarding the G-O-D concept, is from Gomer Azdabar, right? We have also Jehovah Baal and On, Jabal On, which is Jabalon, another word based on 3 deities that is used for God by the Freemasons. These gods are placed in your Bible, which was also fabricated. Now when you fabricate something, that means you just make something up. You know what I'm saying? And we know indeed how we have certain people of power who try to get us to follow certain narratives. They just make stuff up and expect for us to just follow it. You know what I'm saying? But when they do that, it's that blind leadership. Because it's that leadership of God. Because if it ain't from God, eventually I think people will end up being in a ditch. That's why having the word of the Most High that gives us vision about it supposed to be a theocracy, a government of God, we're supposed to be led away from falling into ditches. Y'all hear my logic here? My logic is powerful when I speak in these kind of sensible lights. This is powerful. And we all have this kind of power when it comes to representing the truth. The Most High say, I won't have my people into ignorance. So in light of us following the light, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be avoiding the ditches. So in other words, we are same voices amongst darkness. You know what I'm saying? This goes on to read, right? The gods are placed in your Bible, which was also fabricated. For instance, Jah, which is a shortened form of Jehovah, can be found in Psalm 64:8. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name, extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name Jah, and rejoice before him. Right? Baal, the Akkadian word for Lord. Master can be found in Numbers 22:4-1. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal, that thence he might see the utmost part of the people. Right? And on is found in Genesis 41:45 and translate as the Helios son. Genesis 41:45. And Pharaoh called Joseph named Zaphnath Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And notice how they keep on ending up being in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The light of civilization. In this quote, it speaks about Joseph taking an Egyptian wife named Asenath, a daughter of Potipharah, a priest of On. Strength and vigor, also called Anu Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Now, Apophis uses it as a trick to keep the slave from recognizing any other spiritual power. I'm going to say that again. Now, Apophis used it as a trick to keep the slave from recognizing any other spiritual power but that of the slave master. Now notice that key perspective right now. See, when it comes to our knowledge of self, right, what it does, it frees us to the point where we become in tune with a stronger spiritual power that's outside the prison gates of the slave master's power. I'm going to read this again. Now, Apophis uses it as a trick to keep the slave from recognizing any other spiritual power but that of the slave master's power. Now notice that. See, that's the trick of the slave master, to consolidate power for itself, right? He create a psychological prison for you to be in, where the information he give you is designed to keep you from recognizing the higher power in you, right? Instead, you recognize the slave master as a higher power. So what that does, you bypass your God in you, the higher power of the God in you, where you give it to them, where they get all the glory, and you not knowing no better, blinded from the blinding light of the white magic, right? It covers up your reasoning to see the greater God in you, or the God of your ancestors that they mentally contorted your mind out of and replaced it with the deification of the white image, when you see them as God, as the God beside your true creator, who is the real power that's greater than them, or they teachings, or they images, or they God, which is a false God for us. They gave us a foreign God that don't have nothing to do with our nine-ether makeup, that connect us to the all, Patem Ta, Amun-Ra, Papa Ut, Al-Kulun, Allah, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Allah, that noble Drew Ali, helped to bring to us, that Noble Drew Ali helped to enlighten us to, regarding our salvation, our God, our unity, regarding the Most High Allah, or the Creator, the all, in a person of Dr. Malachi York, Panabab Yanun, which is a power that is greater than the slave master's power. But this is the key though. Recognize this key point. Right? Now, Apophis use it as a trick. So, in other words, the white European slave masters' ego group complex, or they domination and hegemony, uses they white God as a trick. They white God is the ultimate trick, right? To make you powerless, to where you see them as your God. The white God is the ultimate trick. Like this is indicating. Now, Apophis uses it as a trick to keep the white slave. Excuse me. Now, Apophis uses it as a trick to keep the slave from recognizing any other spiritual power. So to keep us from seeing any other spiritual power, which we have seen other spiritual powers that's connected to our ancestors, that's more powerful than the white gods that they gave us. Now, for instance, if we all had the same God, why would Europeans use the God of the Bible as a trick to get us to not see God as the same as our God? If we indeed was a humanity with the same God, where we would treat each other with nothing but fairness and equity and decency and real humanity, love and brotherhood. This goes to show you how the Christian white nationalists approach the Bible from an angle and perspective to do evil out of it. Because, man, now Apophis uses it. Now Apophis uses it as a trick to keep the slave from recognizing any other spiritual power but that of the slave master. There are many gods, but only one Neteru supreme of ancient Tamaray Egypt, called Aliyun El, the Most High, Ra. Even Anu means the Heavenly One, and that being is infinite, omnipotent in nature, and has innumerable powers and parts. The one supreme being is in every Nuwapian black person called Elohim. In the Bible, Exodus 7:1, where even Moses is called an Elohim, a God. In every place, heaven, and in everything, nature, finite and infinite, visible, body and invisible, cells, which is all within Pa, Tim-Ta, the all. Pa, Tim-Ta, the all. Now, speaking of Pa, Tim-Ta, our Kemetic name of the Most High, linked with Amen, the Amen, like at the end of the prayers of the Christians and Muslims. The Amen, Amen, is linking to our Kemetic God dealing with Amen Ra, the creative force, the creative forces behind existence that made manifest to this physical from the spirit realm. Positive energy activate constant elevation to all of us, because this outformation is connecting us to the higher regions of the extraterrestrial realities of our ancestors. Now, Patem Taga All, right? Regarding the ancient priesthoods, right? Which is a lot of this science is structured around of Kemet, right? Our ancestors. We have been reactivated through our true spiritual science. But we in tune with this aligning time in this golden sun cycle to kick the facts. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I don't know everything. I'm just doing my part, trying to make sense of this positive communication to my people, you know what I'm saying, that happen to be listening to what I'm saying right now. The powers and forces of Nuwapu are liberation and salvation for Egyptian Moors, blacks, and woolly-haired people everywhere, all over the world. Liberation is mental and physical separation from opposing forces. And salvation is keeping opposing forces away from woolly-haired people after they have been liberated. Therefore, salvation comes after liberation and is the maintenance and perpetration of liberty, justice, equality, and rightness. Like the other scrolls, this scroll helps to open the prison gate that has your minds locked in. Like I was just speaking about Patem Ta, our creator, right? It's the ultimate locksmith that opened up all the locks off of our minds through our true spiritual science. Like the other scrolls, the scrolls help to open the prison gates that has your minds locked in. And as the gate of mental confinement opens, ignorance will flee. Ignorance will go away from our minds. And the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and right understanding will become the keeper of your minds. The right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right understanding are Nuwapu. And Nuwapu is the spiritual science of all woolly-haired Nuwapians, black people throughout the universes, which gives you soul and makes you soul people. These are the black sciences and black magic that has worked for us. Knowledge and formulas that created the pyramids and the great civilizations of ancient Tamaray, Egypt were built. These are the wonders of the world that the Pa-Tama Huat have still not figured out today. Pa-Tamu Huat is another name for Caucasians. The scrolls that the Right Knowledge series are not, the scrolls called the Right Knowledge series are not the science Nuwapu itself, because itself but it's the diligent reading and diligent study and profound understanding of these scrolls that will open the mind, tear down barriers, and qualify the mind for the universal science called Nuwapo, as taught by the ancient Egyptian order, the AEO. You, the reader, will understand these scrolls better if he or she remembers that Amam, the spell of the Leviathan, comes in all forms, such as a sun god, an earth god, and a moon god for the Tamahuwa, all straight-haired peoples. Amam Leviathan can manifest itself as the sun god. For them is fire worship. So many of them worship on Sunday and worship the sun as a great ball of fire, a destructive force. Notice how they lay on the beaches, but the sun is not their friend. Why else do they need to cover up while laying under the sun? If they do not cover up, they will die from skin cancer, melanoma, that develops from the lack of pigment, melanin in their skin. Amam Leviathan can also manifest itself as God, their Father, our Father who are in heaven. In the Draco star constellation, Dragon. At one time, the earth god, their son Jesus. At another time, and the moon god, their mother of God Mary, or Dina. At still another time. Or it can manifest itself as a combination of two or all three at the same time, calling it a trinity from the Egyptian triad of deities. The father Asaru, Osiris, the son Haru, Horus, and the Holy Ghost, Khonsu. And were all four the blessed mother Aset, Isis. Is really a quantity referred to the scroll Jesus found in Egypt. The group called Adam 6,000 years ago was an incarnation of the earth god, known as Jehovah, Dagon, the Mesopotamian god of vegetation, who was half man and half fish, also known as Jesus, Zeus, Lord, Baal, etc. By whatever name this Adam is really Canaan of your Bible, found in Genesis 9:25, who is the son of Ham, who dates back 4,004 BC, years ago. Canaan. This how Canaan look. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. Now regarding what I was speaking on regarding Canaan, right? Canaan meaning lowlander, is the father of the Canaanites. Lebanon was his name, from where Lebanon, Phoenicians, land of palm trees, comes, or the land of Nod. That's why they always say that Canaan, Adam, Genesis 10:6 was created only 4,000 years ago. Yes, there was more than one Adam in your Bible. The first Adam mentioned In Genesis 1:26, the word for man in Genesis 1:26 is Adam. Adam is not one person, but a group or tribe. Created he them. The second Adam found in Genesis 1:27 says males and females. This Adam was actually the Hindus. The third Adam is in Genesis 2:7, speaks of man being created from the dust of the ground where God breathed into the nostrils of man. The fourth Adam was from Genesis 9:10. In Genesis 10:6, they are really talking about the birth of Canaan, the fourth son of Ham, son of Noah. So again, when the white race refers to Adam as being of their race, they are talking about their Adam, who was red and ruddy as in Edom. This is not Esau, who many say was red, which is in reference to a pot of red lentils. Genesis 25:23. This red and ruddy person, as in Edom, is Edom. This is not Esau, like the Hebrew Israelites speak about the white man being Esau, which is different from this particular perspective here, dealing with him really being Edomites. It's a war. Now, regarding the truth, Sawab Kawim Sawab, truth is truth, wherever it may come from. We just trying to make sense here for the sake of setting the minds of the captives free. Because there have been a major disinformation campaign that has been going on throughout the planet Earth, and we know it has truly indeed been all kind of stuff going on, you know what I'm saying, to where we gotta really make sure we're on the right path out here. Like for instance, in the Jehovah's Witness publication entitled All Scriptures Are Inspired of God and Beneficial, on page 292, they list the birth date of Adam Canaan as being in the year 4004 BC. So Canaan is their Adam, and Labana means white, like milk. So to them, the devil is God, meaning Amam Leviathan is God at one time, and the devil at another time, or both at the same time in them. They say, oh my God, or and God damn at the same time. Of course, this means that Amam Leviathan is very powerful and very deceptive. In fact, Amam Leviathan are the forces of trickery, the source of technology, deception, and hypocrisy. He is a flat-out liar. Amam Leviathan is also a strong sex force that has control over. He is a flat-out liar. Amam Leviathan is also a strong sex force that has control over all that submit to the luster or lust of what is offered. Lust is not only in reference to the sexual aspect, but is also demonstrated by the very fact that you want everything you see. The luster or glimmer of gold is what attracts you. It is something natural and taps into your innocence. For even a child is given a choice between a shiny penny and $1 million bill. The child will go for the glitter of the shiny coin. The allure something has is what attracts you to it. It happened with Nakabal Eve in the garden. The allure of having something pleasant to the eye, attractive, allure, and good for food, and being promised to be wise like God. Genesis 3:6 made her accept the offer of the Ramusian reptilian in the enclosed garden of delight. There are all forms of seduction. Which is one of the attributes in the devil's web, and is out there for and is out there for you. You had all he offered to you. You had your own mind in the black mind as a Tamarayan Egyptian, knowing who you are, what you are. Okay, let me go back here. Hold on. This goes on to read. You had your own mind in the black mind as a Tamarayan Egyptian, as a Tamaray Egyptian, knowing who you are, what you are, where you are, and why you are. All this is yours again in the Egyptian way of life, Nuwapu, but not as you are now, want what he has and which he will never share with you. Amam, Leviathan, is sixth ether. That is spirit fire, amber light, also referred to as smokeless fire, found in Quran 55:15 of Mohammedanism, and the lesser light of the Torah Bible of Mosesism and Christism, Genesis 1:16, that produces ghosts, not light. If the reader understands this paragraph, he or she will understand the Bible, Quran, and the pamphlets called Right Knowledge. In this scroll, there may be repetition, but is needed for clarity and emphasis. Quran says how the people seek to blow out the light of the Muhammadan deity Allah from 1400 years ago. Quran 61:8. Excuse me. 61:8 admits Allah is fire, And the Bible, in 1 John 1:5, God is light, and in him you find no darkness at all. It also admits their God is fire. They will try to say by light we mean knowledge. But how can anyone or anything put out God Allah's light? Question. What is a real Nuwapian or Egyptian Moor? Answer. When I use the name Nubian or black, I do not mean only a woolly-haired person born in a small territory in Africa called Nubia, Ethiopia today. I mean a woolly-haired black person born anywhere in the universe. The root of the word Ethiopian is ether. In Middle English, it means upper air, or from Latin, a third, and Greek, aether. Ghost is lower, and ether is upper, or highest, anu, or on. It's all about breath and breathing. Kayun, with 2 yads, as found in the Torah or Bible, in the Hebrew Genesis 2:7 as Neshama, Kayim, which is ether, divine spirit, forever, and Kai, life, in Genesis 2:8 as Nefesh, Kai, with 1 yad, which is for ghost. Ether is the creative power that the sun and other true stars produce and emanate. When the planet was formed and was in a state of desolation or void of darkness, there was forces that were on this planet. Jeremiah 4:23. Hold on for one moment. All right, I'm back. Now disregard Jeremiah 4:23. Now I'm going here to Jeremiah 4:23, and it reads, I looked at the earth, and it was formless and empty, and at the heavens, and their lights was gone. Now, them interpreting this, saying their lights was gone, right? And the earth was formless and empty. And at the heavens, where he say, he looked at the earth, and it was formless and empty, and at the heavens, and their light was gone. Now, can you picture the concept of heaven, where the lights of heaven was gone? Or the concept, until heaven and earth pass away, what will remain beyond them states of existence? Now we know the concept of people who made transitions from this life to other worlds, like when they say to be absent from the body is to be present with God, or regarding the translation of the Hebrew into English, where we hear about heaven, but when you go into the Hebrew in the place of heaven, It's talking about Orion, which is a star constellation amongst many other star constellations. So, in particular, this particular heaven, where there was no lights, how was they able to see that? You know what I'm saying? How was they able to know that? When was that? How was they able to know that? So, that's why asking questions can lead to the truth. But yet, we don't ask questions. We don't go deeper than the surface. But like when they say the devil is in the details, that don't necessarily mean going beneath the surface into the details we will run into the devil. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things is worded in a way to discourage us from getting to the bottom of something. Ooh, don't go there. To put fear in, to scare you as a scare tactic. You know what I'm saying? By fear mongers, to put fear in people's hearts, or fear in people's state of being, or fear in people's minds. Don't go there, you know what I'm saying? Because it's evil and wicked for you to go there. Or you gonna go to hell for trying to go that deep. You know what I'm saying? Or the devil's in the details. But really what you will find God in the details. Because God said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So if I'm going beneath the surface to get to the truth, you know what I'm saying? And God said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Then I'm getting to the bottom of something to find out the roots of the truth, where I will find God. Because in truth is where the light of God is at. See how they deceived us and tricked us to not go deeper into the details of things, to not be esoteric in getting the understanding of what they mean about the Gnostic scriptures, or what they call the heretic texts, and, you know, or even going researching what it means about the Librorum Prohibitorum, the forbidden books of the Vatican, and things of this particular nature. Not to mention the books that they got on the shelves in the underground book tunnels that's 53 miles long. What they say, under the Vatican, in a subterranean with a subterranean aisle 53 miles long of hidden books. You know what I'm saying? That actually may turn out to be a lot of books, you know what I'm saying, of our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So in light of us, right? In light of us, right? Being sincere seekers of the truth for our own soul salvation, because we have to work our own soul salvation out. We got to work our own salvation out on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Of being lied to for generations. You know what I'm saying? We are returning back to our divine state as gods. You know know what I'm saying? With a overstanding of our divine codes of our genetics, our spiritual genetics, connected to our royal bloodlines of the gods. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's get ready and go here, right? Let me see. Hold on. What up? I'm back. Remember when I was talking about the different atoms of creation? Because history has more than just one creation of man. You know what I'm saying? And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came to give us supreme wisdom and divine knowledge, where all we have to do is go get the wisdom, so we can be in tune with the truth of certain realities of who's who on planet Earth. Not, for instance, the messenger of Allah that came, in particular, what they started to reach us black people here in America, started with Detroit City, being where Master Farah Muhammad came and connected with Elijah Muhammad to teach and prepare him for the divine mission to help wake his people up. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the new wisdom that's taking shape in us in regards to the world of God and kingdom of God being established here on our planet. Now, this right here is dealing with the theology of time, regarding make glory for yourself a message to black professionals, the created people, and the made man. Now, for instance, the white man was not put on the earth to live forever. He is a new people among us who was made, not created. I was you. I want you to understand me. You and I are created people. But white people are not a created people. They are made. They are a made people. You and I have a long old birth record. It is so long that we cannot tell you when we was born. The white man is a man that we made recently, just 6,000 years ago. That is no more than talking 6 hours in the face of the ancient scientists. He is a very late man. We used to think and we told that we were all created together and that we are alike. No, we were not created together and we are not alike. White people are different from you and you are different from them. So don't get that old idea that God created us all from Adam. This is ignorant, misunderstanding to think that God made us all at the same time and all alike, and that God loves us all. Now we can see certain characteristics and personality traits in people that show the differentiations socially and psychologically in terms of how we act toward one another. This goes on to read, right? There are two gods in this kind of making. One made an evil man, and one made a good man, or allowed a good man to remain. The devil or evil man began 6,000 years ago, and the good man, we black people, have no birth record. God did not create us 6,000 years ago, as God taught me in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever. We were here millions of years before white folks came. There is no such thing as we all came together. Did you ever know that would have been a pretty tough job on the maker to make a black man and a white man at the same time? Just think over that. He had that black man here for millions and millions of years before we had a white man. The white man was made by the black man, so God taught me. And it is easy to understand. He was made through grafting, and not here stand up grafting. He was made through grafting, and not here stand up white man and here stand up black man, as we used to think from the dust of the earth. We must understand that this also has a meaning. The science means that he is made from the weaker and lower character of the black man. We used to call ourselves a race since the coming of God and his teachings. He has made us to understand that we are not a race of people. We are a nation. A race is something that has a beginning and an ending, but a nation is something that is standard. Time and setting up posts to go between is not made for a nation. A nation cannot be measured by mile posts. We call the white man a race because they are racing with time to get to another post. And when he gets to the last post, the sixth post declares that his time at that last post, number 6, is at the end. There is no other post for him to race to. I am a man who stands in front. I am a man who stands in your midst and teaches you the depths of wisdom of God and the beginning of creation. I teach how God is about to destroy that which the devil has made. He made it from us, and we were already created. The devil has been using human beings as you use cattle to change their breed. He takes them over here and breeds them with this one. This is the way people have been made into other people ever since the coming of Yaqub. We never had but one nation. We did have races. Race comes from the making of something from another. We are learning all of this wisdom today. We still walk the earth in humbleness. When we see a fool, we don't call him a fool. We know how he became a fool. It is not his fault. So, my friends, I am very happy at all times to go into great depths of the wisdom of God. If you have the patience to wait and read it, it is here. All you have to do is come and get it. There is so much that we need to know. We get impatient. Therefore, we learn what we should. You are like your enemy, the devil. The devil was made in haste because the time was urgent on him. If he didn't hurry, the other incoming God would be here before he could get started. So he went in haste to build a world, and he didn't lose any time. God himself told me that he didn't. He said, brother, this devil has not lost any time. He made good use of the time that was given to him. And look what he has made. He has made himself powerful in a beautiful kingdom, a heaven for himself. That is right. So, in light of the term a heaven for himself, what about a heaven for ourselves, which is through the renewing of our mind, we is in tune with a wisdom that is pouring into this era of time now through supreme wisdom to help us be transformed through the renewing of our mind in connection with this divine wisdom that reflect the incoming manifestation of the wisdom of God through the kingdom of God being manifested in this era of time through this new divine wisdom by the Most High. Like the saying, the Most High makes all things new. Allah makes all things new. Or God makes all things new. Or Patem Ta makes all things new. You know what I'm saying? Regarding this knowledge itself here. You know what I'm saying? That's enabling us to be free from the double civilization. You know what I'm saying? Where we are empowered at this time. We are empowered now to the point where we are building a world of real justice through our genetic makeup in terms of the nature in which we was created in, living in a kingdom that is conducive to our nature in which we was created in. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to in terms of like how our nature is different from the nature of others. Because like when we wonder sometimes, like you can even hear through our musical tones, people's emotions is different from ours. You know what I'm saying? It's like our emotions are well seasoned emotions to where it's full of feeling and energy and motion. You know what I'm saying? The energy. You know what I'm saying? The energy of our emotions is like they are in stereo, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Well-rounded, oscillating in full manifestation. You know, our emotions oscillate in full manifestation, universal. You know what I'm saying? But regarding knowledge itself and knowing what time it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of brothers and sisters being like-minded, you know what I'm saying? And like the master teacher say, no one wins the race in racism. Yet we are a nation that has no birth record. You know what I'm saying? That's connected to the Most High, where we direct descendants of the Most High in all our cultural manifestations, connected to Egypt, the light of civilization. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, right, you know what I'm saying, I know, you know what I'm saying, I'm like multi-directional with my approach regarding my spectrum of knowledge. You know what I'm saying, regarding this systematic computational analysis of this data, information, and statistics of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So to go even further, let's get more in tune with these other lines of reason. One moment, I'll be right back. Put up, I'm back. All right, now to resume with this particular way of looking at things, right? This goes to show you how we are indeed in possession of supreme wisdom. Now, for instance, us as a people, we cannot have tunnel vision, but they try to inculcate in our mentalities to be so one-dimensional and to have pure tunnel vision to the point where we don't see nothing beyond the brainwashing. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, right? Let's go to this particular area here, because we've been educated and trained, you know what I'm saying, to we've been educated and trained to look at things in like a linear perspective, you know what I'm saying, instead of a perspective that will enable, you know what I'm saying, our consciousness to take a vertical leap, you know what I'm saying, into super consciousness regarding certain terminologies, you know what I'm saying, that will enable us to be multi-dimensional in our approach to reasoning through logical thought patterns, right? For instance, okay, now we know for a fact that even to this very day, you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, certain people, I don't think they've been paying attention to certain terminologies. Like, for instance, this question by the master teacher, right, where he give us a lot of guidance, basically, how to approach things from certain questions and answers that he provide us that may have been beyond our comprehension, or that may have been questions that we wouldn't have came up with regarding certain concepts due to our limited understanding of things, where basically how we can see where the master teacher have a super conscious understanding of things, to where he ask certain questions and provide certain meanings for us to see things from angles inside the levels of his super consciousness, which is helping to raise the consciousness of the planet. Now, for instance, right, question: is there a mathematical code in the Bible? Those rabbis that base their whole life around the mystical study of the Torah claim that there is a mathematical code. And likewise, the Mohammedans of the Islamic faith claim a mathematical code over the Quran. The answer is affirmative to each. If there is what they put in them, what they created them, right? Now, for instance, this particular individual who people, refer to, like they say, refer to like a King James version of the Bible, William Tyndale, these particular individuals being one and the same person, right? Now, what were they trying to hide? These particular people who put the Bible in codes and things of this particular nature, right? Because we know for a fact, us as black people, it's a lot they tried to hide from us when it comes to knowledge of academic enrichment. For instance, question: what were they trying to hide? Answer: they were trying to hide the fact that the Bible was plagiarized from the Babylonian tablets. And if that fact was discovered, then the question would come up, where did the Babylonian tablets come from? Then it would be clear by the deities that the Babylonian and Sumerian tablets used, such as Tammuz for in the Bible Ezekiel 8:14, and Anu found in the Bible as On, Genesis 41:45, which is the Egyptian supreme being Ra. That their doctrine came out of Egypt. This would tear down the structure of Christianity, Christians, which was copied from Judaism, and Christianity, which later bred and gave birth to Islam of Mohammedanism. These particular schools of thought, of spiritual, of religious institutions. Now, if you have analyzed the Bible in languages other than English, and you start to see the fallacies of the King James Version of the Bible and the mistakes, the outright lies, the misuse of the languages, and how people's souls were being directed down the wrong path. And you say, let me explain what the Bible really is. There is a group of demons out there who immediately came up to keep the Bible in a state of confusion and look like they are helpers, and they call you a cult. And what they also have done is fabricate many Christian cults and then bash them and brought it into the public. So when the truth finally came, people wouldn't accept it. The New Testament, the church, and Christianity were all creations of Calpurnius Piso family, who were Roman aristocrats. The New Testament and all characters in it are all fictional. The stories were taken from ancient tablets and tied into a specific time and place in history to suit their beliefs. The Romans made the whole story as a big play. All ancient intelligent societies had a system based on facts, oftentimes over a period of time. As positions of power change and individuals with vivid imaginations begin to rule, they would add and subtract from the facts to create fictions, fables, and myths, which sometimes included themselves, but they put themselves in the picture. All were rooted in some facts, and the fact that all calculations, numbers, times, and space began at some point. All agree that there is a point of origin, and that as things expanded or spiraled away from it, it began to lose its pure essence. That is, every new time a story is told, it gets further away from the truth. Read the book Myths of the Bible. I have written about this subject in many of my books, such as The Holy Tablets, Science of Creation, and Extraterrestrials and Creation, and many others. For instance, question: exactly what took place at the beginning? Answer: as the very beginning, that is before genetic breeding, which took place in the beginning period of human time. There was a black print of creation, and then after a cloning, and then another reconstruction period. Question: what is the difference between regular time and human time? Answer: that's a good question, because most religious people overlook the fact that their Bible gives the impression that Adam was created with the planet, Genesis 1:31, and that this creation saw everything that he had made was good, and then discusses the creation of the heavens and the earth and the creations, the stars, the suns, and even the creation of man in his own image and likeness. And then in Genesis 2:1 it clearly states, thus the heavens and the earth was finished, and the host of them. Right? Then these are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created in the day the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Question: so are you saying that God didn't create the planet Earth and the sun and the moon and stars and man all in the same period of time? Answer: yes. There is a major mistake if you understand right. If you understand right, Genesis 2:11 through 12, it states the name of the first is Pisan. That is it which encompasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and onyx stone. The Hebrew word for gold there is zahab, which is gold that is produced by nature within the earth. Question: and what does that have to do with time? Everything, because gold, which was called Lu by the ancient Tamarians, has an atomic number 79, atomic weight of 196,967, melting point at 1,063 degrees boiling point, 2,966 Celsius. Specific gravity, 19.32. Balance, 1-3, which processes in a Precambrian age. Question: what is the Precambrian age? First, let's take a look at the word Precambrian. And is defined, Precambrian is defined as pre, meaning Middle English from Old French. In front, Cambrian, meaning of or relating to or belonging to the geologic time, system of rocks and sedimentary deposits of the first period of the Paleozoic era, characterized by warm seas and desert land areas. The answer becomes quite clear, obvious, that this is not the actual beginning of creation, but a recreation of a planet that became void and desolate. You must read Jeremiah 4:23 and Genesis 1:2, where it states, and I quote, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And no sunlight was able to penetrate the dark carbon dust clouds to germinate life on the desolate planet, which was originally called Eret, Terah, Tiamat, etc. And Adamu, just to name a few. However, it is now called Earth. Read El Holy Torah, which is a word-by-word translation of the 5 books of Moses from the original language, along with El's Holy Injil, El Holy Tehillim, and El's Holy Quran, which is also word-by-word translations by Dr. Malachi Z. York. Now, in order for that goal that was in the earth, and for the Most High to speak on it and see that it was good, that goal had to predate the human beings, the gold that was here on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So these things make you think in terms of like, wait a minute, that must have been a recreation, or there were other creations before this creation that the Bible was talking about, or the Holy Quran, regarding creation stories that actually link back to creation stories that predate the creation stories of Christendom, or the Islamic world, or the world of Judaism, the monotheistic religions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, indeed, our brain, you know what I'm saying, has, with our brains, indeed we have brains to see through the technology of things, to where we can figure out how to reason things out well, to where we have a concretized understanding, understanding, and overstanding and understanding of the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's real. That's real. You know what I'm saying? And in light of us, you know what I'm saying, being students of the master teacher, right? We don't have tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? Our ability to see things is multi-directional and multi-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? As spiritual star seeds. You know what I'm saying? Who is always evolving and growing, being in tune with the omniverse. That's a product of divine mind. You know what I'm saying? So, to take it deeper regarding the corruption that's constantly taking place. You know what I'm saying? Certain spiritual forces that want to keep us corrupted when we are to be made incorruptible. We're working on ourselves to become, you know what I'm saying, gods. That's not to be corrupted. To be made incorruptible from the corruption that other corruptible ones, you know what I'm saying, want to keep you stuck at. Where you can become a vessel for their corruption. You know what I'm saying? But yet, we channel the divine programming of right knowledge, correct information that enable us, you know what I'm saying, to behave in an agreeable fashion in all areas of people activity. For instance, okay, that takes me here. I'll be right back. Put up, I'm back. Now regarding the perspective that I was talking about regarding, like, you know, we can't have the tunnel vision nowadays. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really pay attention, you know what I'm saying, to all of these political realities, what's going on, understanding our voting power and unification energies, you know what I'm saying, about people organizing, you know, with common causes to empower our livelihood here in the United States of America, and have the courage, you know what I'm saying, to confront, you know what I'm saying, reality as we know it, you know what I'm saying, and go and see beyond the veil, you know what I'm saying, and see past the programming that they try to pull over on us, you know what I'm saying, where due to the historical manipulation techniques that they use, you know what I'm saying, to win over our minds to certain belief systems, you know what I'm saying, that is faith-based, you know what I'm saying, in essence, to where you have certain, you know, forces that work, you know what I'm saying, by hiding behind the religions to shield hide their dirty practices, basically. Where, say for instance, we people who is innocent and who are sincere seekers of the truth for our own soul salvation, right? You know what I'm saying? Certain religions mean well, but we know in the hands of certain other people, they use them for mind manipulation purposes. Like, for instance, right? For instance, right? This question was asked: was religion always corrupted? No. Religion started out as simple community disciplines. Originally, the Torah was from a plagiarized plagiarized text taken by the Neter, Elohim, Tammuz, with the help of a council of 46 Neteru, from the 7 tablets of creation called the Enuma Elish and the Gilgamesh epics. Tammuz was chosen because he was a Yah and a Way, meaning he had both natures, agreeable or benevolent, and disagreeable or malevolent. Later, the benevolent beings telepathically communicated the scriptures, generally referred to as divine inspirations. These inspired individuals launched from the Torah to give additional guidance with the community laws already written in the Torah. Then those beings that are malevolent in nature interfered. They are the ones responsible for commentaries and interpretations, which led to the Talmud and the Mishnah and other false texts. It is these codes of law that led to racism, Zionism, war, and death. Question: How can we save ourselves from the spell of religion? Answer: What you must first do is transcend the mask of God. What I mean by this is walking up to religion like you are doing now. You have to walk up to Allah and Jehovah and Theos face to face and question the existence of God like a man and woman, like a being who is responsible for their own soul, and not through the eyes of some religious fanatic who can't see the true light because of tunnel vision. Now, mind you, we have to question these so-called scholarly religious figures who haven't did no kind of in-depth studies that Panabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi Z. York has done in comparative studies, to where our people just have tunnel vision, believing in these people who ain't even learned in these kind of adept chamber-based information terminologies. You know what I'm saying? Just to go to show you how esoteric, how exoterically learned they are in what they be giving us. That people be delivering up their money, you know what I'm saying, in the hands of these liars who ain't really concerned about these real truths here. You know what I'm saying? We all going through this process of figuring things out. I don't need nobody misleading me that's not open-minded enough to say, if it ain't Christianity, don't bring that in here. If it ain't Islam, don't bring that in here. If that ain't Judaism, don't bring that in here. Or if that ain't whatever religion that ain't lining up with what we talking about, don't bring that in here. As if what this is going to do is turn over the tables of the money changers, like the Messiah of the Bible did with those who turned his temple into a den of thieves, lying to the people, robbing the people with false teachings. You know what I'm saying? Sawab Karun Sawab. Truth is truth. You know what I'm saying? Like the master teacher said, this is a time for good people to come together, whatever your nationality is. Yet is that in you to do that? You know what I'm saying? Or remain being a slave with tunnel vision, where you can't see what others have, been blessed to see as a result of them breaking the psychological chains of slavery off their mind. This goes on to read, right, with a question. Question. What is tunnel vision? By tunnel vision, it means being so blinded by religion to the point that you are right and everyone else is wrong. It is religion that is causing the problem. Netta Aferdiatun teaches about this from a converted fanatic point of view, because he was once there and speaks from the mind of a person who had tunnel vision. If you want to change the world, the self-righteous attitude of the people who call themselves Reverend, Imam, Kohan, Sheikh, Preacher, and the likes, when you're in religion, you lose sight of the world. Listen to me. Netta Aferdi Atumri knows. Another reason why you are not blatantly being made aware of the existence of extraterrestrials is because principalities and high places can't afford to tell you about these malevolent beings. And they talking about these extraterrestrial beings is evil. And like the master teacher, wisely mentioned to us, if we happen to come in contact with certain extraterrestrial beings, you know what I'm saying? Like, we may not know their intentions, you know what I'm saying, toward us. You know what I'm saying? So how do we deal with them we come in contact with? These institutions out here ain't even talking about how to deal with extraterrestrials if we come in contact with these beings. You know what I'm saying? Because of religious tunnel vision and religious fanaticism. You know what I'm saying? Yet, you know what I'm saying, due to us who is fortunate, you know what I'm saying, to embrace our true spiritual science, which covers a lot of territory dealing with these outside of box thinking and other realities and dimensions of existence. You know what I'm saying? Fortunate for us, we don't have that tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? So, once again, another reason why you are not blatantly being made aware of the existence of extraterrestrials is because principalities and high places can't afford to tell you about these malevolent beings. Author is the key word here. There are millions of dollars invested in religion for them just to come right out and tell you that there are extraterrestrials on the planet Earth that are more powerful than they are. It will be too much of an economic loss. Think about the cost of churches, stained glass works of the windows, the chairs, the choir robes, the cookouts, the holiday services, etc. Then soon afterwards, you will begin to question the authority, and you will begin to question their authority, and begin to ask, who is really running the world? The fact of the matter is, there is and has been an alien invasion since 1947 AD. We just don't know about it. Information is seeping out little by little. The truth and facts are being revealed more and more every day. People are seeing crafts. Look, this is an actual fact. People recording all kind of crafts all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? Even I have recorded crafts here in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You can go on my YouTube page and see the craft that I recorded on my page. You know what I'm saying? The UFO or UAP phenomena is out here. You know what I'm saying? What they call unidentified unidentified aerial phenomena. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a different era of time now where the disclosure is happening. The earth is changing. We living in an era of time where it's rapid earth change is taking place, where information is coming out. I mean, it's coming out daily. You know what I'm saying? And there's actual sites you can go to that go in detail about, actual contact with these beings and subterranean worlds dealing with the ocean waters. You know what I'm saying? Even with the what's going on with outer space. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, y'all start checking out the space weather. I know we be dealing with, our terrestrial weather, you know what I'm saying, with our everyday lives here, but also start, looking into the space weather and what's going on with the space weather. You know what I'm saying? It's some interesting perspectives you can, know about dealing with, the space weather. That NASA even, deal with. You know what I'm saying? So just to be a refined citizen of our society, right? You know what I'm saying? Take pride, you know what I'm saying, in wanting to know more, to the point where you become a spiritually mature person that really society aims for us to aspire to, in terms of our society being in its right mind. You know what I'm saying? So this goes on to read though, right? Regarding that, think about the cost, right? Or okay, yeah, this is what we at. Then soon afterwards, right? You would begin to question their authority and begin to ask, who is really running the world? The fact of the matter is, there is and has been an alien invasion since 1947 AD. We just don't know about it. Information is seeping out little by little. The truth and facts are being revealed more and more every day. People are seeing crafts and, or what you call, flying saucers all over the world. The base on Mars, which they are now trying to retract the fact that it is indeed a base. Different civilizations and ancient cities are being discovered, and no one can explain how buildings were built in a time when people were considered primitive. That would have required advanced technology and more than simple manpower. You know what I'm saying? More than just simple manpower. We talking about advanced technology aids in these building endeavors, of these type of accomplishments and achievements of these beings from elder race civilizations. But it is too late. More and more information showing the connection between the base on Mars and the pyramids linked in with the Sphinx and the pyramids on Earth. And then both of them connecting with the Orion star constellation has already been revealed and talked about by experts. The truth about extraterrestrial involvement is coming to surface more and more each day. The invasion is over. They are already here. taken over by mixing in with humans so well, you cannot tell the difference of who is who anymore. Yes, extraterrestrials has been living in your midst all of the time. The news reporter you see on your local news is an extraterrestrial. For example, L. Ron Hubbard, the author of Dianetics, is an extraterrestrial from Pleiades, Aldebaran, and they are only informing a certain group of people, their descendants. Question: why is it that we are unable to recognize that these extraterrestrials? Some of them are what would be considered human, but come from other planets, such as Venerians, who are human, which means they are from people or genes originally from Earth, and were simply moved to the planet Venus physically or genetically grafted, or simply born on planet Venus. Others are synthetic but still have a human form, and others are part human and part robot or androids. And the last, organic robotoids or robots with a human outer covering of artificial skin. They can be perfected in genetics to the point where they are an exact duplication of a human, even down to the reproductive capabilities. They lack a complete soul. They would be looked at as superhuman because they have abilities that are above the normal human. Whether these abilities are that in mental ability or physical ability. Refer to Shambhala and Nagatar, cities within the earth. Here are a list of beings, right? We have androids. Androids are machines made to look as human as possible. Androids do not have a complete soul at all. Robots. They are all mechanical. Robotoids. Part living organism and part machine, like your bionic man. Robotoids can be perfected scientifically because by exact duplicates with potential for reproduction and human development. This was done by a group called the Yahwehs, Jehovah, who created this on the planet Mars. Synthetics, made from living organisms with synthetic blood or body parts. Clones, breeding the same being. Birth, the normal human way of reproduction. Organic robotoids. Former President Jimmy Carter was replaced by an organic robotoid within the first year of his presidency. He got some pictures on here to tell the difference between the organic and the original and organic Jimmy Carter. Let's see if y'all can see that. And with this example here, going into detail about the reality of the difference between the organic and the robotoid. The May 7th, 1979 issue of Newsweek magazine ran an article practically admitting that Jimmy Carter that the Jimmy Carter's, excuse me, that the Jimmy Carter that was elected for president was not the same Jimmy Carter that completed his presidency. At first, photographers thought they had their negatives reversed, but no, Jimmy Carter had changed the part in his hair from the right side to the left side, ever attuned to subtle symbolism. The Washington Press Corps demanded an explanation. Do you want a serious answer? The president asked one reporter. Well, I don't want to give you one. Further digging revealed that Carter's tonsorial barbering turnabout came a week earlier during his vacation, and notice neither did First Lady Rosalynn Carter had noticed, neither did hairdresser. Now, this particular person who had been trimming Carter's hair recently, it's not an image-making idea, insisted White House image Gerald Rafshoon, after speculations that the shift was a presidential cover-up for Carter's receding hairline. The change from right to left, Carter joked all the weekend, is only for the primaries, for the general election, right down the middle. Yet notice the difference in the eyes, nose, hair, and facial expressions. Now, there is a difference. Now, Mr. Jimmy Carter is the planet's representative, right? Or was, because I think he recently passed. Yet, you know what I'm saying? You know how other people get certain posts in military, you know what I'm saying, when a change take place at a certain point in time to resume that post. So I wonder who this particular representative is, you know what I'm saying, regarding the intergalactic ambassador of the United States. Now, Mr. Carter is the planet's representative as its intergalactic ambassador, android women. Now, Mr. Jimmy Carter is the planet's representative as its intergalactical ambassador. So, like I was saying, I wonder who's the planet's representative now regarding its intergalactic ambassador. Androids and robotoids took the place of people in positions of power. The robotoids were manufactured by Russians in the mountains near Las Vegas, Nevada, and programmed with the entire life history of the person they were intended to replace, down to memories of childhood experiences and family nicknames. This can be done within a normal human being. This can be done within a normal human being, let alone an artificial or partial artificial one, referred to man from planet Riskrov. Okay, in the year 1966, there was IFO. IFO means identified flying object. Identified. What we call them, well, they've been identified. Well, the certain experts dealing with the aerial phenomena that be taking place, they have identified them, but yet still remain the UFOs though. You know what I'm saying? There was an IFO seen over Russia that had descended streams of light that were spirits that inhabited the bodies of these androids. Careful planning made it difficult to detect the difference between humans and humanoids, also called organic robotoids. According to cosmic awareness, a trained eye could spot their physical limitations. So this goes on and on and on, you know what I'm saying, as far as having like a trained eye to observe, identifying like characteristics of extraterrestrials amongst us in the flesh on the earth. You know what I'm saying? So positive energy activate constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? Stay studious in y'all studies. Stay studious in y'all studies. And may the Most High keep us divinely protected like the Most High always does. You know what I'm saying? To where we are, you know, when we stay structured around, you know, our successful living and positive lifestyles. You know what I'm saying? That's righteous in nature. Peace and love, positive energy, activate constant elevation. Much love to us all, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because look, we living in a different era of time to where, you know, it's all about, you know, our spiritual growth and nurturing as gods according to our true spiritual science. Peace and love. 100. Positive energy activate. Constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? Positive vibes. Only. Peace and love.